What's up, people? It's your girl Adeola. Well, I'm sure that you've all heard about Hurricane Sandy that swept through the east coast of the US this week. It hit New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania, Virginia, Washington, Connecticut, and so many other states. It was a great devastation which claimed the lives of more than 70 people. Also, more than 8 million people lost electricity. I have never seen blackout in the US and I've been here for quite some time. But you know, more than 8 million people lost electricity in 17 states, yeah. And the damage from the hurricane is estimated to about $20 billion. That's not to talk about the cost of lost businesses, you know. That one is between $10 to $30 billion. New Jersey was the worst hit state where more than 2 million people had no electricity. Also in Queens, New York, there was a fire outbreak during the storm where 80 homes burnt down before dawn. Now this is New York and New Jersey after the hurricane. It's very sad in this, and I like to express my condolence to the families of those who lost their lives. May their souls rest in peace. Now, you know, this hurricane would have been more devastating if not for the measures put in place by the government before it hit. For example, they warned us about the places that are likely to be worst hit, you know, and the government was quick to set up about 80 shelters across New York City alone where people could stay until the storm was over. And in those shelters, people had portable beds, they had blankets, they had food. Again, they made these preparations before the hurricane hit. You know, I'm stressing the before because, you know, it's not the same everywhere else, yeah. So they made these preparations before the hurricane came. They also told people to evacuate on time, although some people refused to leave, but at least people had the time to evacuate. Also, they shut down the public transportations, the trains, the buses. Trust me, it would have been more devastating if the trains and buses were still working at the time. In fact, 7 train tunnels were flooded when the storm hit. Yes, that is a train station. Yeah, I know, it's a train station, trust me. And they knew that there would be power outage. So before the hurricane hit, power companies have brought thousands of workers from other states outside New York and New Jersey. They brought them here, preparing them to restore power even before power was knocked out. I mean, look at all these preparations. This shows you that this is a government that values the lives of its people. Honestly, this is not the same everywhere. There are some governments that could care less. I'm just, you know, saying the truth. I can't help but wonder, you know, God forbid, God forbid. But what would happen if there's hurricane in Lagos? I mean, have we prepared? You know, Lagos is also by the ocean. I mean, I know I rebuke it and I reject it by fire, by thunder. But honestly, are we prepared for any emergency at all? Seriously, I doubt that we're prepared for any emergency at all. I mean, common flood. Hey, we've not been able to manage. Do you know that most people in Nigeria were not even aware that there would be flood? Seriously, I'm talking about the flood that is going on right now in Nigeria. Yes, as I speak, more than 22 states are still flooded in Nigeria. And that is despite the fact that the government knew for years, you know, that Cameroon would release excess water from its dam, which would flood Nigeria. Yes, they knew that. And still, there was no preparation whatsoever. In fact, when it comes to the flood, Nigerian government did exactly the opposite of what the US government did. Even though they announced the flood on TV, you know, half of the time, most people don't have electricity. And maybe they don't have fuel to put in their generator. So a lot of people missed the news. They didn't even know that there would be flood. And trust me, they started setting up some of the shelters after the flood had started. Come to think of it, many of these shelters have no bed. Well, they have mattresses they put on the floor, but they have no bed, no blanket, and people fight over food. Seriously, it's just not a place you would want to be. If you ever find yourself in a disaster, that is just not the place you would want to be. In Benue State, for example, 19 girls were raped in one of the shelter camps. Pregnant women are sleeping on the floor. Imagine, people are having babies right there in the shelter. In fact, in one of the shelters in Bayelsa State, the people, they almost beat up pastors. Yes, people who came to preach to them and collect offerings. These people are saying, we are hungry. They were really upset that there was no food for them to eat, and these pastors are coming to ask for offering. I say, pastor, why would you also be collecting offering now from disaster victims? I know that offering time, blessing time, but is this the right time? These people need help right now. Amen, somebody. I mean, just look at the condition of these people, eh? That is really sad, seriously, right? Now, the president was scheduled to visit one of the shelter camps. That was the place where they had the fight. But when the president heard that the people were hungry and angry, he changed his mind and went to a different shelter camp. Now, some people think that it is ridiculous that Mr. President did not address the flood until about 2 months after it started. You know, the flood started in July, by the way, and you know, the president did not address the country about the flood until October. I said, why are you troubling this guy now? The guy is busy, working on his annual budget. You know, that is very important. Making sure that he has his 1 billion naira, you know, for his cassava bread. That is very important. And a lot of people are very upset that the only thing that Mr. President said is that he will raise up committees to look into raising funds for the victims. I said, why are you upset now? It's not like this man has done anything about any of the disasters that we've ever had in Nigeria. Not even with Boko Haram. So why are you disappointed now? If to say he has been doing something before, you can be disappointed. But this man has never done anything. So why are you disappointed? Were you expecting him to do anything? Me, I'm not disappointed in Jonathan. I'm not disappointed, except in those governors, you know, all of them that think that it is funny to go and take pictures in the flood. They think Nigerians are stupid, so they will go and post in the water, and all those officials, and they will go and post in the water for a few minutes just to have their pictures taken. That is the front page of the newspaper the next day. Oh, Governor so visited the flood site. Do you know that nothing came out of all the visits? It is all a show now, trying to look like they care, when in fact they don't care. Maybe one of them just bought a private jet for $50 million, right in the middle of the flood, Imagine Governor Amechi of River State, even though they denied it, but pictures don't lie, you know. Those governors remind me of somebody. Who is it again? You are so smart. Yes, with Romney, carrying food for Hurricane Sandy victims. You expect me to believe that he truly cares? Come on, this man already said he doesn't care about 47% of the population. He said that not knowing he was on camera. I mean, I'm not suggesting anything, but I'm saying that going to take pictures in the boat doesn't do anything. All I know is, if Nigerian government want to show that they really care about the people, let them do something about what Cameroon has been saying lately. You see, Cameroon said that they have a huge lake that is about to break. That if that lake should break, about 1 million people may die in Nigeria. Right now, nothing has been done about that. So, Mr. President, yes, Your Excellency, you know, since you operate by committees, and you know, I respect that. Do you mind setting up a committee that will start working immediately on preventing another flood from happening in Nigeria? I mean, another flood from Cameroon? And can you have a committee that can look into improving the lives of those that are living in shelters? You know, their condition is nothing to write home about. Many of them have been there for weeks, even months. And please, let's have a committee for emergencies, so that next time we can be better prepared in case of any emergency. You know, I'm just saying, I'm keeping it real. You know, I thought the president of South Africa only has problem with his libido. Yes, boy, am I wrong? The man is trying to renovate his private household in his village with $24 million. I say, hey, guy, taxpayers' money. Hey, it looks like South Africans are not happy about this. I don't know what their problem is, because you know me, I don't see anything wrong in it. So, you know, I think he needs a very large and comfortable place, you know, for him and his many wives and 20 children. Yes, especially because you never know, he may decide to marry another woman. Yes, so he needs a comfortable place. By the way, he wants to build a new playground. Yes, in this new house, you know, for his 20-something children. Yes, complete with all modern amenities. I don't see anything wrong in having a small Disneyland in your backyard. I heard that he also wants to build a medical clinic right in his compound. You know, at least he won't have to fly all the way to Germany if he ever gets food poisoning, because you know, food poisoning is very common today among royal families. But then I heard that Jacob Zuma wants to build a helipad. I said, wait a minute, that is where I have a problem. Which kind of renovation are you doing now? What are we talking about? You're talking about renovating a house. Why are you talking about helipad now? Actually, I have a problem with everything else he wants to build. I mean, I thought this was going to be a renovation. Very soon now he will say he wants to have his own helicopter. I mean, you can have helipad without having helicopter, right? I said this is getting ridiculous. Jacob Zuma, let me talk some sense into you. First of all, you are talking about building a playground. Are you a Father Christmas? Do you know he also wants to build 10 houses just for his security staff? 10 houses, for his own air force. He wants to have his own air force, his own police, everything in his own compound. I said, which kind of wahala be this now? Oga, this is different from the underground living quarters and all the underground parking lots that he wants to build. I said, this one is not renovation, this is pure embezzlement. Excuse me. You know, the outrageous thing is that he lied at first. He said he would foot the majority of the bill. But you know, the Department of Public Works revealed that he had planned only to foot 5% of the bill. So the rest will be taxpayers' money, allocated to the Department of Public Works. Can you imagine? Now you need to know that Zuma is not just renovating his house. He wants to build a modern city in his village, so that when he is no longer president, he would continue to enjoy all the amenities that he was enjoying while living in the capital. You know what? South Africans should be angry. Seriously. In fact, they are carrying out an investigation right now on Jacob Zuma as we speak. Now that one shocked me because where I come from, they get away with so many things. They don't investigate somebody that wants to eat with $6 million. Anybody can do and undo. By the way, Zuma claimed that he upgraded this same house in 2009 with $8 million. I mean, if you renovate your house with $8 million, you should never ever have to renovate it again. Like never. $8 million. That one is small money. And now you want to spend $24 million on the same house? It looks to me like Zuma is being a hypocrite, because earlier this year he visited some areas in South Africa that were so rough and poor that you couldn't even believe that you're still in South Africa. See Africa, The same person now wants his own helipad, his own hospital, his own playground. I mean, what about helping those people who live in what you can't even describe as a house? What about helping the families of the miners that were killed? Seriously? You know what? Misplaced priority syndrome. That, my people, is what is affecting Jacob Zuma right now. Now, have you been to Nelson Mandela's house? Because, you know, it's a really beautiful house, very comfortable, but it's nothing extravagant. The same thing with Thabo Mbeki. I mean, these people have good houses, very good house, but they don't have helipad. And you know what? I believe that Nelson Mandela actually touched more lives than Jacob Zuma. I mean, who knew Jacob Zuma until the day that he had sex with this HIV positive lady, and then he came out and said, once you take shower, you can never contact AIDS. No offense. And don't forget about the painting. That's another story right there. We ain't going there. Although, you know, he seems to touch more women. I mean, it's not like touching someone with the way you live your life, but you know, I mean, he literally touched them. You know, don't get me started right up in here. I'm just upset because if he spent this money on renovating his house, Nigerian politicians will start saying, you see, even Jacob Zuma did it. Why can't I do it now? So it would be wise for Mr. President to drop this idea of renovating his house with $24 million before the people that are carrying out their investigations on him, before they get deep. Because, you know, he had some corruption allegations in the past. And you don't want them, you know, digging up all your businesses right now. I'm just keeping it real. So last week, there was another bomb explosion in Nigeria at St. Rita's Catholic Church in Kaduna. 15 people were killed instantly and more than 100 people were injured. It's sad enough that people don't feel safe in Nigeria, especially in the northern part where Boko Haram has been so prominent. I think it's more pathetic when you see where the victims are being treated. See, some of them are laid on the floor because there's not enough bed to go around. Just some days to that, the governor of Taraba State decided to go on a cruise. Remember, piloting himself in his Cessna 208 aircraft? Do you know that this guy crashed the aircraft? So him and the 5 people that were on board with him were seriously injured and taken to the hospital. Now, the hypocrisy in this is that they flew the governor to Germany for treatment, while everybody else was left to receive treatment in Nigeria. They were all in the same plane. How come they flew the governor to Germany? I don't understand. Until the media cried out in Nigeria, they were like, this is not right. I mean, how can you take someone to Germany and leave other people that were in the same aircraft? So eventually they flew out the other victims. It's like the government is saying that they could care less if other people die. They're trying to tell us that all men are created equal, but some are more equal than others. You feel me? Now look at the those people who were in church, you know, having communion when the suicide bomber actually forced his way in and detonated his bomb, none of them was flown to Germany for treatment. Seriously? Shouldn't these people be top priority? We're talking about bomb explosion. I've been saying it over and over. And we seriously need better hospitals in Nigeria, because you can't take everybody to Germany and enough of taking the rich people for treatment abroad. Build one good hospital in every state. My people, build one very good hospital in every state so that people, you know, common people like myself, so that we can receive good treatment. And we have the brain now. We have the brain. Nigerian doctors are really good. Trust me. We are everywhere. We are in every country. You know, I don't even think there's any country where you won't find a Nigerian doctor. Seriously. So many countries that have good facilities. Even the rich. Don't be surprised that when they get to Germany, a lot of times they are being treated by Nigerian doctors. So please, and this is not just to Mr. President, but to all the governors, make it a priority now to build us good hospitals. And because you never know, tomorrow your wife or your daughter may get food poisoning, just like the First Lady of Nigeria. And it may be so hard to get them to Germany on time. You know, I'm just keeping it real. So did you hear about that 20-year-old girl, Iris Kangu? The daughter of the Zambian former member of parliament. Kai. She was caught doing stuff on tape. You know, making pornographic video. I can't even say it with my mouth. Kai, the devil is a liar. I said, hey, 20-year-old. Nana, wow, what is your problem? Your parents are rich. You have everything that you need. What kind of attention are you looking for? I don't understand. Children of these days. Kai, I don't understand them. It's so funny that they find her $2,000. I said, what is $2,000 now? And then her father wants to punish her by sending her abroad. I said, that is not punishment. My brother, that is not punishment. When will rich people get to understand that sending your child abroad is not a punishment? She will have more freedom to do everything that she wants. But you know, come to think of it, there are people doing stuff like that as full-time job in so many countries. In the US, in Europe, there are so many people doing stuff like that. So it's rare to see a society now that says no to such. And I like that. Now, for those of you that are trying to crucify the girl, I started wondering, what made her do it? Is it possible that this girl has been suffering from emotional starvation? Seriously, you know, when parents are too busy trying to make money, that they are not spending time with their children. They are not talking with their children. Seriously. Because, you know, that is why many young people today become so rebellious. So please, my people, learn from this story. Don't say it can never happen to you. Learn before your cute little angel runs away with some dude. Seriously. Or before she makes another pornographic video. Because it is important that you are there for your children, especially your daughters. Tell her that she's beautiful. You know, girls, we like to be told that we are beautiful. Yes, it's just our nature. We like to be told that we look pretty. Yes. I mean, I know that some African parents find it really hard to say I love you to their children. But trust me, it's okay. Tell your children that you love them. Don't just buy them stuff thinking that will take care of it. Be there for them. Talk with them. Find out what's going on in their lives. Because if they know that you care, they would care about what they do. And they won't do things that would shame the family. As for Miss Iris, she's actually really sorry about what she did. And she's now telling young girls not to do what she did. I'm just keeping it real. Before I leave today, I want you guys to see a little bit of Tunisia. Alright y'all, don't forget that you can send me emails. Let me know what you think about the show. And you can also follow me on Twitter. It's been real and I'm keeping it real right up in here. Until next week, I'm gonna see y'all later. Peace out.